It's been 4 years. V Friends has been out. They're playing a really long-term game. So it's just like inspired by a lot of different things, whether it's Nickelodeon back in the day, Pokemon, the way these things come out, the way these things have existed. This is really cool how it's been done. How do we do it modern, that now digital exists within real life, those types of things. And we're having a blast.
All right, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Cards and Content. Special episode today, just like last week, getting to have Gary on here. First and foremost, shout out to everybody who listened, commented, liked, shared, you name it. Appreciated it so much. It was a real privilege to have Gary on here in Columbus, to be able to talk with him, and that is not something I take for granted. But this week's guest will be just as special. Tyler was one of the co-hosts with me on CardTalk pod back in the day. Unfortunately, Lou could not make it, but Ty and I got to catch up. He's one of my favorite people in the world. A-plus human being, super big into collectibles, both physical and digital, just always curious, good dude. And it was fun to catch up with him. So that will be the interview later on the episode. But first things first, you guys know, the one thing on my mind today, man, what a time of the year it is right now. It is vibes are high right now. We're almost through a crazy month. May has definitely been the busiest month for us, between Topps Industry Conference, Dallas, anniversary weekend, Gary V in town, Shipshawana Card Fest, which just took place, and then Chase Brown coming into our shop for a trade night event for free at our shop this Saturday. We're almost through this crazy month, but on top of that, golf weather is here. NHL playoffs are on. The NBA playoffs are on. Game 1, Knicks-Pacers, was electric. An amazing game. One of the most enjoyable basketball games I've watched in a long time. We're 26 days away officially from Fanatics Fest. I don't know the exact date, 60, 55, somewhere around there, days until the National. So we're super close to that. Baseball's moving along. Being close to the National means we're also close to the Hall of Fame game, which means football coverage and the excitement there is going to pick up. Just great time of the year. Excited to get back out in golf. Excited to be at Fanatics Fest. Just excited for a lot of things. So vibes are high right now. So feeling pretty good. But I mentioned it earlier. 26 days until Fanatics Fest officially today. Hard to believe it's going to be here. Again, a lot of things are different this time than last time, and a lot of things are the same. Obviously, back in New York at the Javits Center, massive venue. In my opinion, it's the nicest venue I've been in for a show. It's awesome. I had never been there before. Loved the Javits Center. This time, before the National, not after the National. Last time, I think it was in the end of August. This time, we're in June. So what does that look like? More space, for autograph dealers. Or autograph signers. I know that was something that Fanatics had talked about last time, not being, kind of what they wanted it to be. Kind of an expanded kid zone. You've got tons of space for, car dealers. We will be there. We will be set up. So a lot of exciting things. But they just announced recently Fanatics Games. This is something I saw on Michael Rubin's page. But basically, it's like $2 million or so in prizes, including $1 million in cash. Ferrari, a LeBron James Topps Chrome Gold Refractor 9.5. I think the post had said that the last sale was like $250,000. But basically what it looks like from the post and the video we saw from Ruben and Fanatics was this is a competition that will take place at Fanatics Fest in New York City here in 26 days in June. And how it's going to work is, one, you have to basically apply to be chosen. There's going to be 50 spots reserved for like athletes, celebrities, like some of the names are like Tom Brady, Drewski, Kevin Hart, Liv Morgan, Jaden Daniels, James Harden. Again, just to give you an idea of like who's already been selected. And then there's 50 spots open for what they call lucky fans. And it looks like in order to apply, one, you've got to have a ticket to Fanatics Fest. Like, you got to be going there. And then the second one is you've got to record a short video showing / telling us why you should be chosen to compete. And then you've got to submit your application to either the Fanatics app or post your video on social with the hashtag Fanatics Games. 50 lucky fans will be chosen. And basically what they do is they've got like 8 events. Now, these look like a lot of the same events that were there last year, but basically you compete in all 8 of these events and they drop they take your top 6 scores, they drop your lowest 2. So things like pitching accuracy, goal scoring for FIFA, for soccer, NBA, like I think it's like around the world, like a 3-point contest, QB skills. Again, I'm just reading this from the Fanatics post. Washer dryer puck shooting for NHL, superstar entrance for WWE, striking challenge for UFC, and a closest to the pin for golf. So really, really cool. I think this, we were talking about it here about this, and the first thing that that comes to mind for me is I think Fanatics is doing a really good job promoting this event kind of in a different way than last time. I feel like, again, correct me if I'm wrong, and I'm sure I'm overthinking, or I'm not thinking about something here, but I felt like last time it was a lot of like, hey, come meet Liv Morgan and Tom Brady and, Gronk. They were there. I feel like this time it's a lot more like they're doing some of these big moments like this, really trying to draw some buzz around it. I think this is a huge step in the right direction. I think this is going to draw a lot of attention, a ton of attention. And I also think, some of the things that we look for in like the card industry are like exclusive drops. Like the silver packs and the gold packs crush at the National. We've talked about this before. Rapper redemptions are a big deal at these shows. I have not missed a National since Cleveland 2009. They are a huge deal. Let me tell you, the silver packs from Panini and Topps, and I've not done a ton with the Upper Deck, but like those are normally, again, the rapper redemptions from the companies do well. Topps has got exclusive product dropping at this show. So you've got Topps F1 Fanatics Fest. You've got 2025, what is it, Series 1? Series 2, Brian? Series 2 boxes, Fanatics Fest boxes. And I think there's another one coming. So more exclusivity to this event. You've obviously got NFL guys now because it's not in August. It's not at the end of August. It's in June. So you can get guys like Jaden Daniels. There was a couple other, I think Russell Wilson was on the list. OBJ, Tom Brady. Victor's going to be there. Joe Burrow's going to be there. I mean, we've got the list now from Fanatics website. Henrik Lundqvist, Gronk, Meek Mill, A-Rod, John Cena, Cody Rhodes, Jey Uso, Ray Ripley, Jamar Chase, C.J. Stroud, Caleb Williams. I mean, these are massive, massive names. So to have them there at Fanatics Fest, again, the timing, what is it going to look like being before the National? I feel like last time, like you get into late August, like are people still traveling? Kids are going back to school. Like maybe this June time is the best time for it. I'm excited to see if it has any effect on the National. I don't anticipate it will. So yeah, really looking forward to it. Again, hard to believe, but we are 26 days away when this drops on what's today, 26th. So getting close. Another cool quick note here. I saw Fanatics partnered with Complex for a new series called Card Shopping. First episode with Tom Brady. I think it was at the Card Vault in East Hampton. I think that was the new one that Chris, Tom, and the team are opening. But basically partnered with Complex. They did that sneaker shopping series for a decade plus. I think it was like 12 years. This is according to the Collect article about it. It was more than 12 years, 300 episodes. So to bring in a guy like Tom Brady for a card shopping series now that he's in the hobby, again, according to this article, he owns 50% of Card Vault. Chris and his team have built something really cool out in Boston, and obviously a partnership with Tom Brady makes a ton of sense. Great for the hobby, great exposure. But it had us thinking. This was actually a pretty cool moment for us because we actually did a series called Card Shopping. It didn't have a G on the end. It was just Card Shopping. Theirs is definitely spelled differently. We didn't trademark it. Should have looked at that. But we did this back in February of 2023. We went to 5 states in 5 days to spend $50,000, little spending challenge. Went to one in Ohio, Texas, Kansas, Alabama, in Florida in 5 days. It was exhausting. So many flights. Not everything was direct. The times were different. Like, you had to land in a city, film, then get back on a flight the next day. I don't think I could do it now as we've grown, and I have a son. Just life is a lot different. But man, what a cool moment. Again, to do that series a couple years ago, and then to see Complex and Fanatics, do it. And obviously we haven't done it in a while. Just a cool moment for us as to have done something like that a few years ago. Obviously Complex, Tom Brady, way cooler than anything we did. But excited to see how that continues to develop in time. All right, now we were going to do a little Q&A here. Asked a little late last night, so didn't get a ton. But I still picked out a couple I thought would be worth talking about today. So shout out to everybody who submitted. I have a few here I think will be worth answering. Can provide, hopefully provide some value to some folks listening. So want to start with one from my guy, one of my favorite people in the industry, Bradley Jack Design. Does amazing graphic work. Big Devin Hester and Obi Toppin guy. But he said, what area do you think is underrated that Topps and Panini are ignoring? The first one that comes to mind for me is the entertainment industry. Music being a big one. With how big social media is these days, just the idea that like there's not, I think this is something I give Leaf a lot of credit for, is with their Pop Century set and their on-demand releases. Leaf does a great job of stuff like this. They've got autographs of so many different people. But if there is a Prism or Chrome entertainment product, we had seen some of it from Zero Cool. I don't know if people remember that, but you had the V-Friends back in the day. You had obviously Jackass, that was on there. There was a couple different ones. Brian's pulling it up now. I know I'm missing a few. I think they did like 4 releases. But this is like one of the first things that Topps had done when they like started, like when they like take over the licensing. This has been a while. I mean, because V-Friends, I think the first series of V-Friends was like 2021. So it had been a little while since they had done it. But I had honestly anticipated the Zero Cool brand turning into more of that entertainment, option where we could get like a Chrome influencer entertainment type product with cards of Drewski and Drake and Taylor Swift and Logan Paul. Again, just naming, I Show Speed, Kai Cenat. You just start naming, people in the entertainment industry. And I'm more surprised that didn't kind of play out. I know Panini has got into like the music industry. I mean, they've got the Rolling Stones Prism mega boxes. We talked about those. Those came out in the last 4 or 5 weeks or so. So you're seeing it a little bit, but clearly I'm missing something with like the complexity behind getting these names into products. Because I'm assuming Topps and Panini would both love Taylor Swift cards and love Drake cards, or other names like that. So the first thing that comes to mind for me would be, the entertainment stuff. That would definitely be my immediate answer. So let me know what you guys think. Is there something you guys think is being underutilized or kind of ignored by Topps or Panini that there should be a line of cards for? All right, and then this is another fun one here. Cincy Sports Cards 23 says, how long would you say it took for the consistency to really start rolling with cards? So I don't exactly know, like, I want to try to provide value here, so I'm trying to think of, like, what you could be looking for on this one, so I'll just try to give some context to this. So, like, I have been in cards almost 20 years, like, consistently, like, every day, no days off. And I don't say that, like, every single day is 18 hours. I say that just, like, I didn't stop collecting cards in high school. I didn't stop collecting cards in college. I didn't stop collecting cards when I started dating my wife. Like, I haven't taken breaks from the hobby. You know, some people like, yeah, I went to school and found my love after I got out of college. Like, I bought and sold cards through college. Like, I paid for my way through school. So flipping and cards have always like, I remember collecting Doug Martin and buying Doug Martin lots and having them sent to my college dorm when I started at Miami, and this would have been like in 2012. So I've lived through that. I remember, in 2006, Tony Romo gets name starred. I remember going to the card shop and looking through value boxes to find Tony Romo cards. Like, that man has played an entire NFL career, has retired, is the all-time, I think, passing yards leader and touchdowns receiver, or touchdowns leader. I'd have to double check that. But I think he's like all-time in Cowboys history for like passing yards and touchdowns. Brian's double checking this, but I'm pretty sure that is accurate. Again, I have been in this a long time. So I think the thing for me is I have just flipped. A lot of it's flipped to collect. Like, I enjoy collecting cards, but a lot of it is like flipping cards to be able to collect. But I've been doing that for 20 years. I think it really started to be something I focused more on around like building it into more of something other than like just a passion and more of like a business was around the time I got engaged. I've shared this, the story before. It was really kind of like my test to see if I could do this full time was around this idea that like I was going to flip cards to pay for my wedding. My wife and I got married, and that was kind of like my prove it to my wife that like, hey, I can do this. This could be more than a business or more than a hobby. I could flip cards, still pay bills, do those things. It taught me a lot about managing money, a lot about, can't keep everything, keeping the emotion out of it if you've got to take a loss to move forward. Again, taught me a lot, in that 18-month period. But that's, I think, when I started to see a different mindset. But again, the Instagram thing now, I feel like it's a lot easier now to gain traction, to build those things. Back when I started, it was 2013, like, it was all about like hashtags and time of the day and, photos. Now it's, if you have a good, look what short form video does. Like, some videos get millions. We have videos with millions of views in short form. Like, if you have the right content and, you're consistent with it, there's a lot of ways for it to be, built and to grow. So, I think it's a little different now there, but hopefully that provides some context. Again, biggest thing is just understanding that it takes time. Like, if I have a quote I love in this when talking about this, but it's, you can't rush something you want to last forever. And I think that's super important on this, that like, I am playing the long game. I want this to be something I do for the rest of my life. So, I think that's big for me, is that like, this is not a get rich overnight thing. This is not it's going to happen tomorrow or the end of the year. This is something that, 1% better every day adds up a lot over the course of a decade. That's what we're looking for. So, and then another one, Andrew.Allen34, my guy says, what would you rather have, a base auto or a sick patch out of 10, same player? So I want to kind of adjust this product or this question a little bit for Andrew, because I was thinking a lot about this. The easy answer for that question is always the auto. I'll take the autograph every time. But I think about this as, I like this question so much more when it's, because I would ask you, the listener, this. Which would you prefer? On-card auto, non-game-worn patch on the same card, or sticker auto, game-used patch auto? And my answer would be around the game-used patch auto. And I think about this, right? This is how my mind works. I'm like, okay, game-used patch auto. Obviously, we've seen some really cool game-used patch autos over the last couple years. The debut patch auto being one of them from Topps. They do a really good job on this. Panini obviously does a great job with Flawless Basketball. But at wide scale in the hobby, this is something that's probably been underutilized for a long time. And I believe it was Michael Rubin. I have to go back and check this. But I remember back in the day when it was announced, like when Topps has talked in the past about taking over and what they want to see. And I think it was Rubin that addressed the cards as like pajama cards, right? This idea that like they're just random jerseys. They're nothing special. They're not worn. They're not touched, anything like that. And this is going to be the one thing not maybe the one thing, but one of the things I'm most interested to see what happens over the next year. Because we'll sit here a year from now and Topps will have the basketball, football, and baseball license for sure. 3 of the major 4 sports in the U.S. Topps will have the licensing for. And they have talked about, these pajama cards, right? And you've got things like, you have Inception Football now. Inception Football I love this product. I think Topps did a fantastic job on it. It's got a lot of the big name rookies. It's more rookie heavy than vet, especially because they don't have the good vets. They're like, no, they don't have good vets, but they don't have current players. They just have retired guys. So you get your Jerry Rice and your John Elway and Dan Marino, but you also get like Dwight Stevenson, and I'm going to throw some unnecessary shots here. But it's a lot of rookie stuff. But those rookies in like Inception and those patch autos in there, and they're great looking cards, even for no logos, those aren't game used, right? So will the idea be that we'll expect more game used patch autos at larger scale in Topps product? Like, they're not making 5 products. I mean, there's a lot of product. Will we just see those in bigger products like a Transcendent, a Sterling, a Dynasty, depending on which brands come from baseball to other sports? Like Royalty's been one they've done a couple times for tennis and UFC. Love that product. I think Topps crushed that product. I love Tennis Royalty. I've ripped a few cases of that. It's been one of my favorite products to rip in the last year for sure. And I just think about this as like, are we going to see more game used patch autos when Topps takes over? Again, you have seen it with debut patch autos. That is, in my opinion, the single best trading card you can make of any player. Any athlete you can make, the game used debut 101 on card patch auto is that greatest card. Will we see it in other stuff with a game used patch auto of Cooper Flag, a game used patch auto of Jaden Daniels, a game used patch auto of Mahomes? To my knowledge, I'm fairly confident in this. Mahomes has 1 game used patch in existence. I believe it's a flawless subset insert patch from 1 year. He's no game used patch autos to my knowledge from Panini. So will we start to see LeBron James game used patch autos? Again, Victor game used patch autos. Ant-Man, Curry, like some of these big names, like think about them. Like I don't know if there's many, yet alone any. Josh Allen game used patch autos. Joe Burrow game used patch autos. Patrick Mahomes game used patch autos. You've got them now of Ohtani and Trout and Bryce Harper and Judge and those guys because Topps has most of them. So as Topps takes over, are we going to see more of that? Because that to me is going to be the big tell. You go back to the days when I started, the 06, 07, 8, 9, like you have game use patch autos. Like that was a cool thing, especially for like current players and vets. Like you got a lot of those. I think that's the thing. I would give me the sticker autos. I'll take those for sure if I'm getting a game use patch auto. I prefer the game use patch so much more. I think it means so much more. Getting a jersey, from Fanatics, throwing it on Joe Burrow, him taking it off, that doesn't do anything for me. I want one from a game used NFL, like a game used NFL jersey. Will we see more of those in cards? That's something I'm really eager to see what happens over the next 12 to 24 months with Topps, with Fanatics, when they take over those licensing. Will we get more game used patch autos at scale? Because I think if we do, man, you tell me we're going to get royalty NFL football with Joe Burrow game used patch autos in a year when Topps has the licensing, and a game used patch auto of Jaden Daniels and Cam Ward and Ashton Genty, and we're going to get those cards. Mahomes, potentially Josh Allen. We're going to get those cards again out of a royalty, out of a Sterling, out of a Dynasty. Imagine Transcendent Football with Mahomes, NFL Shield logo patch auto 101. That's a massive, massive card. That would be one of the best non-rookie cards of Mahomes ever, and it hasn't been made yet. So I think it's pretty, it's got a lot of unlimited potential. So I'm excited to see what happens, but we'll see. All right, enough of me chit-chatting. Special interview. My guy Tyler, again, came out to join us for the V-Friends trade day with Gary recently, so we got to catch up with him and see what he has been up to since the end of CardTalk. So let's kick it over, see what my guy Ty has been up to. A very, very special guest today. Over a year after the final episode of CardTalk was ever recorded, we bring back a legend from the show. My guy Tyler is on the pod today. This is a very special day for a multitude of reasons, but more importantly, to have you here in the flesh on a pod. Over a year, 16 months since we've recorded a podcast last. I'm really looking forward to this one.
Likewise, bro. I'm so pumped. This room is sick. Everything you guys have built out, Brad, the whole crew, it's amazing. It's really fun just to think back from when we really kind of first met. Our first, I think we recorded 3 trial episodes.
3, I think it was 11.
Yeah.
I thought it was a million. I remember doing those. I was June. Was that 2020 or 21?
Yeah, I think it was 2020. I think it was 2021. We ran 21 to 24. I think what it was. Yeah, and the whole crew. I mean, Judy, just the whole
Matt,
journey of that. Matt,
the
blender, going to Dallas shows, and just the journey. Just watching you from afar has been super inspiring. I think I've told you that, but just kind of taking matters into your own hands and putting stuff out. The compounding nature of it all.
Yep.
How content impacts business and all those different areas. And now we're here today, kind of doing this launch. I think it's something we've worked towards together for a long period of time in different ways, and I'm pumped to go to the shop. We were laughing about last time I was here, I fleeced a kid for the Jalen Brunson 101, and I was getting clowned for it.
Yeah, at the time, it was like, what are we doing here?
Yep.
Now you're looking back on it, Nick's up 2-love, going back to the Garden.
I don't feel great about that at all, by the way, but we can talk about
That's another point for another day. But yeah, it's obviously super special to have you here. Certainly wish my guy Lou was here just for the full reunion. I'm sure that is coming one day very soon. To be able to sit here, after we started this, and I'm sure I'll talk about it with Gary, but my earliest, right before I quit, 2 years basically before I had quit, it was the daily V's all the time, you, Lou, Gary, D-Rock, watching that content religiously, and now to sit here almost a decade later and be like, hey, we're on a pod together, talking life, we're still friends. I mean, that group chat, the CardTalk group chat, is probably my most active group chat of, any of them. So to sit here, all these years later and just be able to kick it with you and talk cards this is going to be a lot of fun. I think, I know Bobby was giving some good ideas. I think we should just start with the what's on your mind. I mean, we used to do that on CardTalk. I just feel like this is, the closest thing to a CardTalk reunion right now. Yeah. So I'll let you start with,
Well, I was laughing last night as I'm falling asleep watching MPJ hit a late fourth quarter 3-pointer to win a home game and go up 2-1 against the favorites to win the chip, OKC Thunder. A lot's going on. I got engaged. I made a play on that. Life's been going forward. Again, following your footsteps and inspired by you. It's been 11 years. It's funny, it was 7, I think, when we first kind of linked up. 11 years working at Vayner with Gary, the whole 9. V-Friends has been in motion in a big way. Professionally, there's been a lot going on. Ohio State won a natty. It was almost Penn State, Ohio State in a fucking natty, and we lost to Notre Dame. That was fun. The college playoffs are a lot of fun. Oh, yeah. We stole your defensive coordinator. Paid him a lot of bread.
I'm pretty bitter about that. I'm not gonna lie.
Paid him a lot of bread. I've gotten to my fair share of footy games. The World Cup is next summer in the U.S. Pokemon's ripping and on fire in a crazy way. I just got to interview James Poulter a little bit, or Ian James Poulter, on the way in. Things are fun, and then V-Friends has really been it's been a fun week. We released Topps Chrome, but even kind of the last year or so, I've really gotten a lot closer to that business, doing a lot of different partnerships. I do some different apparel collaborations, kind of different relationships. So just been back in the mix with that. I've been behind the scenes just working in a different area after 1:37 p.m. back at Vayner. But playing a lot of golf, sports, collecting, the whole 9. Yeah, things have been good. That's what's on my mind. Back with the family. Bobby, Jay, Courtney, a lot of the 1:37 p.m. crew is now kind of over at V-Friends and rocking and rolling.
If you know anything about CardTalk and you know, how this used to go, like when we used to do What's on Your Mind, you know, this is very fitting for Tyler. Like, I wish Lou was here, because Lou would have definitely made a comment about 9 or 10 things, 7 minutes worth of What's on Your Mind. This is very Lou.
Yes.
You know, we would definitely give Tyler some crap for that. Yeah, I mean, I first and foremost, I've got to start with saying, like, it is very nice to sit here and to hear you say, as a Penn State guy, to sit here and say the Ohio State Buckeyes won a national championship. It's unfortunate we weren't filming CardTalk when that happened, because I waited a long time for that. Now I sit here today and say Penn State's got a squad going into next year. I'm not ever betting on James Franklin, but you bring back Aller, you bring back some of the defensive guys, you got both running backs back, you steal Jim Knowles. Penn State's got a squad, and I hate to say it. Thank goodness it's in Columbus this year, though. But that's
still got to win. I've been with Gary for the last 10 years now, watching the Jets, and I'm the most cynical. I've become the single most cynical sports fan, and so even during the whole playoff, Boise State, the first 2 games I felt good about, but then the Notre Dame game the entire time, I'm like, we're gonna lose, we're gonna blow it. We had the lead, we lost the lead, we got the lead, we blew it. I will say, I felt fairly good about potentially seeing you guys in the chip, but Will Howard deserves some flowers. He made some big plays at the end there, down the stretch.
I was in Atlanta watching that game, and like they go up early, and I'm like, this is going to be a boat race. We're going to dominate, like national champs, like this is over. And then like Notre Dame just slowly starts chipping back. And I'm telling you, I'm a pretty cynical person. I'm like, we just never get it done. The Georgia game, the Clemson game, I'm like, we find a way. Like, we get there, we get boat raced by Alabama. I'm like, please don't let this happen.
Yeah, I don't feel like Penn State. It's really weird even for you to say they have a good team, because people are going to be saying it, but we have to win at Ohio State, and we have to we have Oregon at home. At home, that'll matter, but the stadium will be a little weird because there's a big renovation going on. It's so weird. They did a fucking naming rights deal for the Penn State Stadium. I'm so sad about it, even though it'll pay a bunch of players. And we got some late portal additions, but like, I don't know. It's weird. It's weird.
Definitely what I miss the most about CardTalk is listening to, you know, the Jets and the Penn State chatter, and just especially knowing Ohio State won. Like,
we got Justin Fields now too.
I know, but it's like the Buckeyes in New York on the Jets. But enough about that, like, because we could literally sit here and talk about this, and this is what we got used to get flamed for on CardTalk. Was like, do you guys ever talk about anything else?
Yeah, what are you collecting?
College, Disney 2023 Chrome.
You've been going hard on that.
Yeah, it's one of those things that, you know, now that I have a son.
But even I'll give you something before that. I mean, the relationship. You guys have always been Disney people.
Yeah,
even before the cards. So like, if we went back to 2021 CardTalk, like, you guys love Disney.
Yeah, my wife used to work there. So to be able to kind of collect that stuff, and now that I've got, you know, a son that can be like, hey, you know, like, he says words. So like, when he, you know, says things, or like likes characters, it's fun to kind of.
Do you guys watch the movies?
Not like, the attention span's a little rough at, you know, almost 2. So,
but even in the background, just start conditioning the kids. Like, just throw it on.
Toy Story's on for sure. Like, you know, we've watched Moana. Like, they're definitely on. So for sure.
What's your favorite Disney character?
Like, favorite character, or like, who do I think sells the best?
No, your favorite character.
It's probably got to be like Buzz or Woody. I mean, it's got to be Toy Story. That's just probably the most from my childhood. What would you say?
Remind me of the dude. Who's the neighbor in Toy Story?
Oh gosh, no idea how it.
Come on, the dude that was messing with the Sid. The dude that was messing with the Barbies. Come on, Sid. Sid is up there. But actually, it's funny. Me and my fiance Camila, late at night, like, if we just want something comforting to watch before we go to bed, we'll throw on old Disney movies. We just watch Pan. Smee is definitely a top character. So
that's a very
for me.
Tyler thing. If you guys have watched CardTalk, you know this. Like, Tyler's like, you're like, hey, who's your favorite Disney character? And you're like, Mickey and Minnie and Buzz and Woody and Captain America, or, you know, Lightning McQueen, like, whatever. And Tyler be like, the neighbor.
Yeah, the neighbor and Smee.
I like the neighbor.
You know, Smee speaks to me a lot. Captain Hook's right hand. I'm like a right hand guy to Gary. He's not Captain Hook, but like, Smee I've only done one play my entire life. It was Peter Pan, and I was the role of Smee. And then early on, I tell that to my fiance Camila, and she's like, and I didn't tell her what I was, and she's like, I've only done one thing too. It was Peter Pan, and I was Smee. So we were both Smee. So I picked up some Lorcana Smee. Elsa stuff is crazy.
Yeah, that's what I would say. It's like
Yeah.
Elsa's different. Like you obviously have Mickey just because of,
Yeah.
what he is to Disney. But yeah, Elsa stuff is
Yeah.
next level.
Pokemon?
Crazy. Pokemon was crazy. First 90 days of the year were insane. It's cooled off a little bit. I think it'll boost up a little bit with the Team Rocket set coming out.
Yep.
I think there'll be a lot of buzz around that. There's a lot of momentum headed that way. Those booster boxes are north of 300 right now.
Yeah.
That's a lot for that, but was insane the first 90 days. A little bit of a cool down period, but still a lot of momentum.
Can I ask you for one, if you looked at VFriends Topps Chrome, which you ripped, can you give me one thing that, as unbiased as you could be sitting here with me, one thing that you liked about it, and one thing that, if your brain was like, okay, as a collector, as someone that was being introduced to this product, something that you might change or adjust or think about as we go forward?
One thing I wish, again, I'll start with the thing I would try to improve is more of like a character checklist, more, hey, meet the characters, more, here's the 100 characters, 200 characters. Like, they're in the set, there's a lot of them, but there's like, if you don't really know VFriends, you're like, what am I looking for? Like, who are the top 10 chases? Like, I can tell you who the top 10 chases are in Disney Chrome, but I don't know who the top 10 chases are in VFriends.
Yeah.
Like, I know the, very lucky black cat. Like, again, I know enough about it, but like, I don't know, like, who's the fifth character that like you think could sell. Like I could tell you in Disney who the fifth character I think would sell would be.
And so that's like material, like surrounding content and material.
It could be like a print thing in the box. It could be more social content around like, hey, like Slabstocks does like these are the 10 guys to chase in Bowman Chrome.
Yeah.
Right? Like you tell you who you're looking for in Bowman Baseball. Like there should be that content should exist in VFriends.
Yeah.
Like who do people want to chase? Like you want people to get into it. Like they got to know who they're going to look for. Right? Like obviously it's scary. So like that attracts a lot of people, but like the product has done really well. There's been a lot of big sales. There's been a lot of demand for it. So it's like, I think if you had some more breakdown of like who's who and like what you're looking to chase, I think that would help, bring other characters to life. I think the one thing I did really like when I ripped the box that I ripped was I feel like I got something in every pack. A lot of refractors. I get a few numbered cards. I did hit an auto.
Nice.
I did know who it was at first. My
Christina Tosi?
Yeah, my wife
Nice.
told me a lot about it.
Yeah.
A couple of the inserts. I like the chases. I thought the Kaboom thing, like the original, the Erupt insert with the original Kaboom drawer. I thought that was cool. I thought again there was a lot of marketing around it, a lot of promo, a lot of social content. I felt good about it there. So yeah, I think that's the one thing I would look at as more of like a checklist, like who's who, and then I like the fact that like there was something in each pack.
Makes sense. Thank you.
So
yep.
As you sit here now, look out a year from now, like what do you hope VFriends, like a year from now, what are you hoping you get out of it?
I think for me, what I think is super cool and fun is, to your point of where things get better. And, we kind of do so many things at once. And then as we do them, we kind of try to refine. It's just from this notion. If you think about, it was how when I go back and look at early episodes of CardTalk, the branding, all of these things, and then they refined as you went. A lot of people just wait to ever do it for it to be kind of exactly how they want it to themselves before they go and put things out. So we have all these different avenues going on right now, from cartoons on YouTube with Moonbug, deep storytelling there. Comics just released. And so for me, when you talk about the top 10 character chases, comics literally just hit. The first ever comic is now available to read for free online. And the storytelling around why you might like one of these characters is really starting to develop in certain ways. So right now, it's like, okay, you can look at the Logical Lion. You might consider yourself a logical person. You might be a Detroit Lions fan, and so you like lions. You might have grown up on The Lion King. You like the lion, and you kind of are left to your own imagination in a lot of ways. a year from now, we'll probably have, I would say, 15 comics out to the world about the lore and stories of who these characters are. Some, might be completely different than you agree, the relationships that exist between them, who's friends, who's homies, who has rivalries, all of those things. And so as that develops more, there will be, okay, you pull this card and it's like, oh, this dude I like because I remember the story. And so as that happens more, I think it'll be a lot more fun because there's 251 characters, and the width was created on purpose so that over time we can go a lot deeper versus kind of one character. And then the other thing I have a lot of fun with, I think, as you know, over the years, different events we've done, trade nights, random little product, fun things. Like I'm wearing this, this is a sample, but on the back is some artwork we did with Adam Lister. He took the characters, put them through his own kind of creative, and then we're doing hoodies and collaborations. I'm doing a Whatnot show with a good buddy, Zach Owings, on Unleashed. So doing like very exclusive products to certain shows that we have, different partnerships, like putting this event on today. Yesterday, we did a full day tour around Tri-State. So I was just, calling different shops, setting those things up. We went by Kids Super Shop, and I'm just grateful. I'm very fortunate. I get to work with amazing people. For me, it's about working with friends, and I'll just be honest, it's easy, bro. Like, my job is when I call a shop, I'm like, hey, would you be open to Gary coming and doing a meet and greet? And like, he is like, he'll work his ass off and do everything. And so it's like, when you got good product to sell, things are easy. Yeah. And so it starts with that because of who he is as a guy and a human and what he'll bring to the table from a value standpoint. For sure. And then downstream from there, it's just like, how can we do fun, unique things that bring people in, try to give people value through a lot of different ways. And it's been a blast. It's been 4 years that the product that VFriends has been out, and crazy. They're playing a really long-term game. So it's just like inspired by a lot of different things. Whether it's Nickelodeon back in the day, Pokemon, the way these things come out, the way these things have existed, there's a lot of ways of just trying to say, hey, this is really cool how it's been done. How do we do it modern, that now digital exists within real life, those types of things. And we're having a blast.
I love it.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to run out of time. Unfortunately, this is probably going to be a shorter of an interview, and I'm sure the full-length one will come soon when we get Lou back on and do a huge reunion. But what I want to, let the people know is, like, what's next for you? Like, you as a person, I know you're back in the content game, like potential pod, like some of those things. Like, what's happening now and what's on the horizon for Tyler?
It's been cool. I mean, so personally, I'll get married in the next year probably. Like, family life and all of that is happening and developing for sure. I turned 34 in a couple weeks here. I just trying to be kind of disciplined and regimented, while also, like, I've always been up for and willing for any opportunity at any moment, whatever that might be. I'm doing this Whatnot show now. I'm developing and doing a lot more in the VFriends content space. It's something I've always loved, being on camera, talking, being able to interview people. So I'm doing that with VFriends. We're flirting with the CardTalk brand is so strong, and trying to bring that back in a way through live commerce entertainment. I really think there's an amazing opportunity for a Pat McAfee type show around sports cards and all things collectibles. That I think what we've seen in live commerce is 85% selling, 15% entertainment. And I think if we can flip it to something that is 70% entertainment, 30% sales, I think you'll start to see that everywhere. And I want to drive a lot of that. I think every podcast will have a live component that's 15% sales. Talk about a topic on the next episode, sell the t-shirt or whatever that might be. You'll see that in live, as every platform, meaning live like an event where they're doing a podcast, live selling, because I think you'll just see commerce, and then what's happening with Meta, stablecoin, all of that stuff, I think will get pretty crazy. X Studio, I think, is a really unique opportunity. Twitter live streaming studio, I think, is something that a lot of people don't talk about.
Yeah, I don't know much about it.
I think it's a really, really interesting opportunity over the next 3 years, because I think they're going to build commerce in a real way. And that's, like, they talk about it being the everything app with Grok, all of that. I think there's going to be crazy content opportunity. And then I'm doing my own content on my own YouTube that I own. For 12 years, everything I've done has really been built and pushed into how can I extract and bring value into the Vayner world and out of the Vayner world. And so Tuesday, I'm going to push my first episode live. largely inspired by how you've rolled on my own YouTube, that I'm sitting down interviewing people just from all walks of life, really around how you can use the internet to accomplish things that you want to do.
For sure.
And it's a very selfish endeavor because I've talked about things, and it's about doing it, being uncomfortable, pressing publish, and then being able to sit with someone and just like ask the questions that I want to hear and learn to inspire me, to push me.
Sure.
And then if that can be put out and anyone gives a fuck about it, amazing. So that'll go out on Tuesday. So I've just been doing a lot more content strategy. I feel like going into a next chapter of my career has been a lot of fun. And so it's like a little bit of a reset, and away we go. And I'm in a good spot, feeling really happy about it.
I love it. Yeah. I can definitely tell, you seem super energized, and that's one of the things I've always admired about you, just, from the content days of watching it on screen to seeing it in person at the National in Chicago to, years of Card Talk is, you're always go, 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 go. You're always like on, but like you do it the right way. You always have a smile. Like you're optimistic normally outside of like the Jets and Penn State, but yeah, you're awesome human being. I'm, grateful to call you a friend, and I'm excited to, to watch. And I'm grateful, you came on here and, chatted. It's good to catch up. And like we, are close now, but to be able to do it in this audience and to share this content with the world is cool. So I appreciate it a ton.
Yeah. I just want you to know, like, it's really inspiring, dude. I've known you now a long time. And then even the story before, it's really cool because as close as I can be to all of this stuff that Gary's created, I get so inspired by people because I've been crazy close to it, and people on their own journeys building their own thing, like which Gary would tell everybody. I'm like, okay, I need to take that inward, and the things we did with Card Talk and now you doing this, like just even this room, having this, the possibilities, having team, the whole nine is like, I love it. And so I'm just thankful, and I appreciate you a lot, bro.
Appreciate it. Yeah. My guy.
Yeah. Thank you, bro.
All right, we got to run. Yeah. We've got a trade day to attend. So shout out to everybody who checked into this one. Make sure you guys check out my guy Tyler. But that's all I got for now.
Peace.
All right. Shout out to my guy Tyler. Again, if you guys are not following him, make sure you guys check him out. One of my favorite humans. Great person. So make sure you guys check him out and keep up with what he's got going on, because it's always something cool. But speaking of something cool, this week is a big time release week. So we've got a lot of different things to expect, a lot of different sports, non-sports. Let's get into it here. Start with some of the lighter stuff here. Sage Aspire football, Donruss baseball, extended series hockey, Leaf Metal football, hobby and jumbo. But we do have some big stuff. You got Midnight Football, a release, new 2024 release coming from Topps. You've got Bowman's Best Basketball. Again, I talked about this, I think it was last week or the week before, about that triple auto, that Paige Beckers, Hannah Hidalgo, Juju Watkins triple auto. I'm stoked for that. You've got one with Ace Bailey, Dylan Harper, Cooper Flagg. I'm ready for these Cooper Flagg patch autos as he gets ready to transition to the NBA. So looking forward to both of those releases. But you also have Select Football, in my opinion, one of the best products of the year. I know people love Prism. I know Optic is fun. But the tie-dyes, the golds, the greens, the field levels, the XRCs, man, the tigers, zebras, elephants. I think Select is... I'm not saying it's better than Prism. I'm not going to do that right now. But I just think for the value of like the, what you could get in there. If you strike out on Prism, you can strike out on it. I think Select is a little more of a safer, more enjoyable rip. So I'm excited for this, excited to see what this product looks like. And then when we talked with our guy Ryan about, we had Ryan's Card House on here to talk about the Pokemon market, and he had talked about these Pokemon Scarlet and Violet Destined Rivals comes out this week. A big time Pokemon release for the first time in a little while since we got our last one, but this is expected to be a big time release. Booster boxes of this product are already way above where they normally are. Unfortunately, we don't have a ton of this coming, so we'll be fighting with everyone else to try to find some more of this, because I'm going to imagine this product is going to be extremely hot in shop this week. So a lot of cool product coming out. Excited to check a few of these out and see what they look like, but we'll see. Definitely definitely has me excited. Again, great time of the year. I'll start with this, I'll end with the same thing, man. It's good times right now. Great weather. Get out there to play some golf. Great sports on. Close to Fanatics Fest. Close to the National. A lot of fun coming up. But for now, that is all I got. Peace, guys.